Welcome back, comic book fans, to another exciting episode of our Invincible Comics recap series. In our previous video, we witnessed the epic clash between Invincible and Conquest, a fight that tested Invincible's limits and pushed him to his breaking point. Though Invincible emerged victorious, Conquest's survival hinted at the possibility of another showdown between these two formidable foes. In this video, we'll take a closer look at their second encounter, which was just as intense and brutal as their first. With the fate of the world at stake, Invincible must once again confront Conquest and prove himself as the world's greatest hero. So, if you're a fan of heart-pumping action, gripping storylines, and unforgettable characters, then you won't want to miss this recap. Get ready to experience the thrill of the Invincible comics like never before. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more exciting content like this. After their brutal first encounter, Invincible emerged victorious and believed Conquest to be dead. However, Cecil Stedman had other plans. He took Conquest's seemingly lifeless body and placed it in a fake grave to deceive Invincible into thinking he had successfully defeated his opponent. Meanwhile, Conquest was taken to a secret location for further study on Viltrumite physiology. But Conquest was not so easily defeated. In just a few short days, he had healed his wounds and regained his strength. He effortlessly broke out of his 400-ton prison in the Mojave Desert, leaving behind a trail of destruction. His next destination was a Viltrumite warship, where Thrag, the leader of the Viltrum Empire, was stationed. Conquest bowed before Thrag's right-hand man, Craig, and reported his failure in defeating Invincible. Thrag, disgusted by Conquest's display, compared him to a mere animal and questioned his usefulness. However, Thrag ultimately decided to spare Conquest's life, seeing his potential as a powerful weapon. He tasked Conquest with a new mission: to eliminate Invincible, Omni-Man, and anyone else who stood in the way of the Viltrumite Empire's dominance. As Omni-Man began to recruit powerful heroes from all over the universe with the help of Alan the Alien, they encountered many challenges along the way. The team had already recruited some of the most powerful beings in the galaxy, such as Space Racer, a master pilot and wielder of one of the most powerful weapons in the universe, and Battle Beast, an immensely strong combatant who could take on several Viltrumites at once without breaking a sweat. They also managed to convince Tech Jacket, a superhero from Earth, equipped with a powerful suit granting him a wide range of abilities, to join their cause. However, they knew that they needed the help of Invincible if they wanted to stand a chance against the Viltrumites. Despite his reluctance to face his wife after abandoning his Viltrumite ways, Omni-Man eventually reunited with her when he went to see Invincible and his brother Oliver. During the emotional reunion, Nolan revealed that he had forced himself to fight Mark during their last encounter and had realized that he truly loved his family. However, Debbie was still not ready to forgive him just yet. As they prepared to head to planet Talescria, the capital of the Coalition of Planets, they were ambushed and torn in half by an unknown attacker. Mark looked on in horror as he realized that their attacker was none other than Conquest, who was alive and well and accompanied by two other Viltrumites. With the team now split and in grave danger, Mark knew that he needed to act quickly if they were going to survive this brutal onslaught. Conquest, fueled by the joy of having a second chance to fight Mark, taunts him with the promise of saving him for last. Oliver charges in to take on Conquest, but is quickly swatted away like a pesky insect. He even grabs Omni-Man, who was terrified upon seeing Conquest, but they were broken apart by Mark, who assures his father that he can beat Conquest as he has beaten him before. Even Zack's Tech Jacket armor proves no match for the unnamed Viltrumite's overwhelming power. As Mark and Conquest continue their brutal clash, the tension mounts. Mark demands to know how Conquest could possibly still be alive, and Conquest taunts him once again by telling that Mark is not as strong as he thinks he is. Despite being outnumbered, the Viltrumites rally their forces by enslaving an alien race and using them as their own army. Omni-Man and Oliver are quickly overwhelmed, with Oliver gasping for air and fleeing to a nearby planet to catch his breath. But even this fleeting moment of respite is noticed by Conquest, who sets his sights on the weakened hero. With Mark's help, Oliver narrowly avoids Conquest's deadly grasp, but the fight is far from over. Mark and Conquest continue to clash, their powers and wills pushing them to the brink of exhaustion. Mark grabs Conquest by his neck and attempts to suffocate him while Conquest tries to fight back. They soar across the planet and into the depths of space, crashing down onto the desolate planet once again. But Mark still refuses to let go, and is determined to kill his enemy once and for all, no matter the cost. In a last-ditch effort to end the battle, Conquest gathers all his strength and launches a fierce attack on Mark's chest, impaling him and leaving him critically wounded. But even in the face of death, Mark still keeps holding onto Conquest's neck. Finally, after being torn in half, with his strength almost fully depleted, Mark kills Conquest once and for all. As the dust settles, it becomes clear that the price of victory has been steep. Mark's body is completely incapacitated and barely holding on, his body racked with injuries that could easily prove fatal. If it wasn't for Omni-Man and Oliver, Mark would have been dead on an empty, desolate planet. The battlefield was a bloodbath, with the clash of superpowers shaking the very foundations of the planet. Mark lay there, torn in half, his life hanging by a thread. But in a moment of heroic sacrifice, Omni-Man tore off his own cape to keep Mark's intestines from spilling out onto the ground. The sight of a once untouchable Viltrumite reduced to such a state was a sobering reminder of the price of war. It would take Invincible months to fully heal, and they had to use every resource they could find on the barren planet, even resorting to eating the strange alien creatures that roamed the landscape. And yet, despite the odds stacked against them, they never lost hope. As they buried Conquest, a wave of disgust washed over Oliver. But Omni-Man argued that Conquest was one of the greatest warriors of Viltrum and deserved a proper burial. It was a small gesture in the midst of a chaotic war, but it was a reminder of the humanity that still existed in the midst of all the carnage. For months they stayed on the planet, Mark's life hanging in the balance as Omni-Man took the opportunity to finally get to know his son. They talked about everything, from their hopes and fears to their deepest regrets. It was a rare moment of bonding in the midst of a war that seemed to have no end. When Mark finally woke up from his months-long coma, he was relieved to learn that Conquest was finally dead and could never hurt him or his loved ones again. They quickly headed to Talescria, where a full-on war raged on between the Viltrumites and the planet's inhabitants. With Invincible, Omni-Man, and Oliver at their side, they emerged victorious in this encounter. But it was just the beginning of a much larger conflict known as the Viltrumite War. The road ahead would be fraught with danger and uncertainty as they followed the Viltrumites to their home planet and faced the fearsome Thrag, the strongest Viltrumite to ever live. It was a battle that would test them to their very limits, but that encounter deserves its own video. If you enjoyed this breakdown, buckle up for more thrilling adventures to come.